Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Angela Pugh. This is where I coach you how to live sober and happy. And don't forget that happy part. Getting sober is hard work, and you do it because you deserve to be happy. And my whole business exists to help you be happy. So don't forget that when you're overwhelmed and feeling crappy one minute, thrilled the next, and crying the next. You deserve to be happy, and you will be. I'm recording in Kansas City today. I literally am recording this at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and in a couple of hours, I'm leaving to go do an intervention. Many of you know part of my professional life. I've been an addiction interventionist for about 10 years, and I'm going to do an intervention and take this young man to treatment, and I'm feeling in a really good energy space. So I thought recording a podcast would be a great idea right now. So I want to start today's show off with a shout out to one of my superstar Facebook group members, Christopher Lina. I'm probably butchering his name, so I'm really sorry if I am, but I just love this guy. This is a person that is really doing the work and nurturing his sobriety to make it strong. He's super active in our group and connecting with other alcoholics and being of service by sharing his experience and knowledge with others. This is what creates long-term, sustainable sobriety. And here's one thing Chris shared that I absolutely loved. He says, "One thing that I try to remember each day is that it was never my job that I hated. It was never my childhood that I hated. It was never the small town that I live in that I hated. It was never my failed relationships. It was myself that I hated. It wouldn't matter what job I picked or where I went in the world, because no matter where I went, there I would be, hating myself and blaming how I felt on everything else." You guys, this is so powerful. This is exactly one of the traps, and this is what we're going to talk about today, right? 6 things that screw up our sobriety. That's what we're going to talk about, and how to not get caught in those traps. But I love that Chris pointed all this out, because this is so true. And this is one of the things we do. This is human nature, right? Addicted people might take it to a new level. We might really kick it up a notch like we like to do. But this is very much human nature. And what happens is we get caught in this trap. We get caught in this trap of thinking like, well, if I had a different job, things would be better. If I made more money, things would be better. If my spouse was more supportive, things would be different. We get caught up in all these things. We focus on what we don't have, what we wish we have. And in the process of doing that, we're not taking any action to get the things that we want. And I think oftentimes it's because people don't really know what to do. You know, like I say about quitting drinking, like I didn't know how to start stopping. And I think that's the thing that really stumps people. As simple as it sounds, like I think people don't understand just the step-by-step process to start taking action to change big things in your life. Because it's itty-bitty tiny actions that change big things or that make big change, tiny, tiny actions. I think we think everything has to be grandiose, you know, like I want a new job, so it has to be this big sort of crazy dramatic situation where somebody seeks me out or I'm discovered and they offer me my dream job with my dream salary. And shit just doesn't work that way, right? If I want a job, I've got to sit down first and put together my resume, maybe have somebody check it over. I'm probably going to have to do some Google research to make sure that I do my resume just right. I want to word things correctly. I want to really make myself shine. So I'm going to have to research how to do that, or maybe pay somebody to do it for me, right? I got to get my resume together. I got to do some research about what kind of jobs I want. I got to find those jobs. I have to apply. I have to follow up. All these little tiny actions is what gets you the new big job, right? We get caught up in this thought process like we are victims, like we are the victim of our circumstances. And the truth is, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You are a product of the choices you make. So every day you get up and you hate your job and you make a choice to not take any action to have a different job, that's a choice you're making. You're not a victim. You're making a choice. Every day you decide to hit the snooze button instead of getting out of bed, right? All these little things, we start to just lay down and give up on life instead of taking action. And that's what my whole thing is about. My whole thing in life, in my existence, my sobriety, everything is about taking action. Personal responsibility and taking action, okay? The last part of what Chris said is, sobriety has allowed me to find such an inner joy and happiness that I have longed for and never thought I could achieve. It would be unrealistic to believe that every day will be a happy one, but at least when I'm having a crappy day, I love myself enough now to get through it in a healthy way. I love that. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing that. This is beautiful. Chris is fantastic. He's super active in our group. He's really sounds like he's got it together and he's doing the thing. And I love seeing his posts, and that's why I wanted to share that. So let's get into the rest of our show, right? What we're going to talk about is the things we do to screw up our sobriety. And these are really, really hugely important in early sobriety. But at the same time, all these things we're going to talk about are things that are important throughout your sobriety. It doesn't matter how long you've been sober or in recovery. It doesn't matter what route you're going or how you're doing it. These are the things where we'll get lazy or we get caught in these little traps, these little thinking traps. So that's what I want to talk about. And the first one is pause. And yes, you heard me correctly, pause, just like your dog's paws, PAWS. What this stands for is post-acute withdrawal symptoms. Now, in the treatment world, for those of us that are professionals, we talk about this stuff all the time, but I feel like it's not known. If you've never been to treatment or outpatient or addiction counseling or anything like that, then you're not going to be so familiar with this. And what post-acute withdrawal is, acute obviously is immediate, right? Acute withdrawal symptoms it's your detox, it's your withdrawal. That's what you're going to go through right when you stop drinking. These are all the symptoms you're going to have. For me, I quit drinking and I had about 3.5, maybe 4 days. I laid on my couch. I felt like crap, right? I was in withdrawal. I felt like I had the flu. And cold sweats, hot sweats, no energy. My whole body ached. I just felt like I had the flu. Some people have really bad headaches. Some people have vomiting. Some people have tremors. I had tremors, but I literally had tremors like for a couple of years. Like I shook all the time. So that wasn't anything unusual. Some people can have hallucinations. And you know, too, that alcohol is an extremely dangerous withdrawal. Alcohol is one of the only withdrawal processes that you can die from. And there are seizures specific to alcohol withdrawal, which is one of the things that make it so dangerous. And that's why we always recommend, especially with alcohol withdrawal or benzodiazepines, which are anti-anxiety meds. That's the other one that's dangerous. We always recommend medical supervision, right? If you're going to start this process, go through your ER, get checked out, let them check your vitals, keep an eye on you for a little while, just make sure you're safe. I didn't know that when I quit drinking. I didn't know that it was dangerous, and I just laid on my couch with my Rottweiler, and he was extremely understanding and patient with me, and I just got through it because I didn't know any better. But anyway, that's your acute symptoms, immediate symptoms. So post-acute is after that, what comes next. And post-acute, how it makes sense to me really is more about the science. This is more about the biology of what your body is going through. Remember that your entire body and your brain all have to withdraw from alcohol. And a lot of those processes are going to take a lot longer, right? Some of this takes months. And they say that post-acute withdrawal symptoms really can last up to like 1 year to 2 years. I've even read 2 years. And I don't know how accurate that is. You know, they always give you this big window because you're going to have like the one person that it took 2 years, but that's probably not so common. I would say, honestly, this is really your first 6 to 9 months, maybe even just 6 months. it's just what your body is going through. And when your brain is trying to come off of alcohol, right? Alcohol and drugs really do some crazy stuff to our brains. And your brain has to go through its own journey to get back to some state of normal, especially because remember, we've just switched up normal. Now we took alcohol and drugs away. Now your brain is sitting there going, okay, WTF, what's happening? This isn't normal. Okay, this is going to be the new normal. Well, what does that mean? And what am I supposed to do? And how much feel-good chemicals do you need? Because your brain stops making that stuff when you introduce substance, right? It stops making its own natural feel-good things. Dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. There's all this collection of things that we really F up in drinking and overdrinking. So when you stop, your brain is on its own roller coaster ride. And that's why you have this crazy up and down, enormous range of emotions. They switch all the time. That's what that's all about. It's just your brain trying to figure out what the hell's going on and what it needs to do to get to some new state of normal, right? And at the same time, your body's going through its own stuff. Every organ in your body has to detox. So post-acute withdrawal can just be really challenging. Your moods are all over the place. And I want you to Google something. It's called anhedonia, Anhedonia. Anhedonia is a really big deal. It is the inability to feel happy. And that's because of just what I was talking about. All those natural feel-good neurotransmitters in your brain are all out of whack. Everything is screwed up, right? And it makes it really challenging to feel happiness. So don't feel like anything crazy is going on when you're experiencing this, you guys. This is so normal. And it's just your body's process. And the best thing you can do while your body is going through that is take care of your body. Like I remember I was Googling like what foods can I eat to help my brain? I wanted to nourish my brain. I wanted to nourish my body and take care of it because I knew I wreaked havoc on my body. And once I got sober, I just wanted to be nice to my body. I drank a ton of water, and one of the big things I had in post-acute withdrawal is I got cystic acne, like really crazy acne on my back and my shoulders. It was nuts. Wasn't on my face, but it was my back, my shoulders. Like I've never had anything like that. And it literally just lasted my early sobriety. And I think it's just my body's way of purging and getting all that poison out of me. So I really tried to take care of myself, and I didn't do a great job. Like, I don't want you thinking that like I went on this clean eating thing or I turned vegan. Like, I don't have that inside of me to do that well, but I did pay really close attention. I drank a ton of water. I tried to be active. I just wanted to take care of my body and my brain, and I wanted to do things to love and nurture them. So that brings me to our next thing is don't be lazy. This is not a time to be lazy. Figure out some things that you can do on a daily basis to nourish your life. Like I was just talking about nourishing my brain and my body. And I mean every area of your life. For those of you that have gotten my recovery recipe, you'll definitely understand this really well. And for those of you who want the recovery recipe, you can get it free at addictionunlimited.com/recovery recipe. And I will link it in the show notes for you guys to make it easy for you to grab it real quick. In the recovery recipe, we address all the different life domains, right? Life domains are the things we say, like you hear people say, we wear so many hats. Those are life domains. You have family, you have work, spiritual, physical, emotional, right? All these life domains. And you need to get clear on your life domains and do something to nurture all of them. This is the foundation of the recovery recipe. And none of this needs to be super time consuming, right? I have this weird hang up about time. Like I will catch myself. It's one of my personal traps where I start thinking about doing something or I want to do something. And my next thought will be, oh my God, this is going to take so much time. It's going to take forever. And then I won't take action because I get caught up in that thought process. So I'm always battling that time thing. So none of this has to be super time consuming. The things that I do on a regular basis that take the longest are going to AA and going to the gym. Those are the two things in my personal recovery recipe that take the longest, and they're an hour to an hour and a half, right? Every other little ingredient in my personal recovery recipe takes literally a matter of minutes. And when I started practicing all these little life hacks, I started doing things 2 minutes at a time. Literally 2 minutes. You guys, 2 minutes flies by, and I promise you, you can commit to 2 minutes. So don't think that this is some big crazy thing that's going to take hours a day. I'm literally talking about a matter of minutes. But don't be lazy. This is not a time to be lazy, especially in early sobriety. You are working against a lot of things, science and biology things, body things, attitude things, emotional things. You're working against a lot of stuff. This is not a time to sit back and be lazy. This is the time that you need to really be active and nourishing and nurturing all of those life domains and figuring that stuff out. The next thing is bartering. Okay, this is a big one. I feel like this is probably the thing that takes more people back to relapse than anything else, is bartering. Understand that you are going through a grieving process, okay? Overdrinking on any level feels lonely, and we tend to isolate because usually you're keeping secrets about either how much you drink or how often. You're hiding it from your kids or your spouse or your job, right? And when we have secrets, we start to feel bad about ourselves because secrets just by nature feel deceptive, right? Secrets are deceptive. That's why you hear that phrase, you're as sick as your secrets. We've got a whole podcast episode coming up about that too. But anyway, secrets by nature feel deceptive. And when you feel like you're being deceptive, it damages your self-esteem. And remember, anything you do that makes you not feel good about yourself damages your self-esteem, and addiction thrives on that. Addiction needs you to feel bad about yourself so it can talk you into drinking. And this is bartering. Don't barter. Do not engage in those thoughts of maybe I can have just one. Or maybe no one will know. I can drink this one time. I'm traveling for work and nobody will ever find out. Or even worse, like you think, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not capable of staying sober. Maybe I'm one of those people that just can't do it. Or if you're really new, I did this a little bit. Like I started this thought process, but it only lasted about 30 seconds. But I remember when I was 2 weeks sober, I was in a situation and I thought, well, it's only 2 weeks. Like I can get 2 weeks again, right? So don't fall into that. I can start sobriety over tomorrow, okay? This is bartering. You're bartering with your life. It's so freaking ridiculous. Do not fall into bartering. It's not worth it. When you have any one of those thoughts, immediately tell it to F off and tell your brain, this is the committee talking to you, right? The committee's telling you can have just one. Nobody will ever know. You can do this. It's going to be different this time. You can control it this time. That's the committee bartering. You have to tell the committee to F off. We don't drink anymore. That's what I would say to the committee when I had that moment at 2 weeks sober. And I thought, oh, I can get 2 weeks again. And I was like, no, dude, we don't drink anymore. That's not our life anymore. Bartering is one of the stages of grief, and we definitely go through all of them. And understand that it is a phase. It's just a phase. It will not last forever, and you can get through it. But don't feed those thoughts of bartering. Do not feed those thoughts. If you put energy in those thoughts and you think about it and think about it over and over again, your disease will win. It will win. It is powerful. If you start thinking into those things and putting energy into those thoughts, you are poking the bear. Do not poke the bear. Let him sleep. He is much nicer when he's asleep. The next one I want to talk about is being realistic. Okay? Don't get overly attached. And this goes right along with post-acute withdrawal and right along with don't be lazy and don't get in that barter thought. Be realistic. Don't get overly attached to any feeling that you have. Remember, this is a roller coaster ride. Your feelings are going to be all over the place, and feelings can change very quickly. That's why I don't trust them. And that's why I don't make any decisions in my life based on feelings, because They change. They're not reliable. They change really quickly. Think about a moment when you were really sad, right? Say you're having a bad day. You were out maybe running errands, doing stuff, and you've had a shit day. Like all kinds of little crappy things have happened. You're grumpy. Maybe you're tired, whatever. You're just crappy. And you can walk in your house and one of your kids can smile at you just right or run up and give you a hug, and literally instantaneously your feelings change. Okay? Remember that. They change. So don't get attached to them. If you are feeling some type of way, sad, angry, mad, lonely, whatever it is, do not get attached to it, and don't put a bunch of energy into it, thinking about it over and over again. We tend to put a little extra energy into nurturing our negative feelings and moods and situations. And the more you think about a negative thing, the bigger the negativity gets. And we end up blowing things way out of proportion and making mountains out of molehills, as they say. The more you think about a negative thing, the bigger the negativity gets. And this leads me right into the next thing. Okay, so be realistic. Know that any of the negative things that you're feeling will pass, okay? Negative moods and situations pass just like good moods do. And I remember my sponsor saying this to me early in my sobriety. He's like, you don't get in a good mood and expect to stay that way forever. So why, when you get in a bad mood, do you get all doom and gloom and act like it's going to last forever? It will pass. Let it pass. Don't breathe life into it. Let it pass. Okay. And here we go to the next one. Focus on the solution, not the problem. Focus on the solution, not the problem. We like to put a little extra energy into focusing on that negativity, whatever it is. I don't feel good. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Whatever the thing is, you don't want to focus on the problem, okay? If I need more money, I'm not going to sit around and put all my energy and thought process into thinking about how little money I have, because you know what's going to happen if I'm sitting around thinking about I'm broke? I'm going to be broke, because that's what I'm putting my energy into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think about, what do I need to do to make more money? Because that's where I want my energy to go, make more money. Not, I don't want to be broke anymore. I'm so broke. I can't think about that. My focus goes to make more money. What do I need to do? What phone calls can I make? What odds and ends jobs can I do? What night job can I get? What service can I offer, right? That's what it would be for me, is what service can I create? If I'm having money problems, it means that people are not buying my services. If people are not buying my services, it's because I haven't made them attractive enough, right? So I've got to think of something else. I have to revamp or make another offering or advertise more. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into this stuff, but focus on the solution, not the problem. Put your energy into the things you can do to change your situation into what you want it to look like. Think about what you want it to look like. Again, if it's a new job making more money, what are the little tiny things that you could be doing on a daily basis that are getting you closer to a new job making more money? You don't have to do big, grandiose acts, right, to achieve your goals. It's itty bitty tiny actions, because the point is you have to take action. And if we blow things out of proportion, again, we're talking about blowing things out of proportion like we love to do. If you blow things out of proportion and think this is going to be so hard, it's going to take so long, and you think too big picture, then you won't take any action. When really, I would rather you say, you know what, for 10 minutes today, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on one section of my resume. That's it. Or maybe for 10 minutes today, I'm going to sit down and Google good resumes and look at what they look like, so you could start to think what you want your format to look like. Or I'm going to sit down today for 10 minutes and I'm going to Google resume templates, whatever the thing is. But take action. Nothing happens overnight, but it requires action, just like your sobriety requires action. Don't be lazy. Figure out what you can do. Get involved in your life. Get involved in your recovery to build it to be what you want it to be. And that's little tiny actions every day. That's it. Okay. Last thing. I really want to get into this because I feel like this is absolutely the most overlooked part of recovery in every way. I talk about this. I own men's sober living houses in Kansas City, and I talk about this a lot in that environment too. Have fun. It is so important that we have fun. And fun is one of your life domains. Remember, we were talking about your life domains in the don't get lazy piece. You have to have fun, you guys. If my sobriety sucks, I'm not going to stay sober. Okay? That's just the truth. When you think about this on the most basic logical level, if my sobriety is not enjoyable, I will seek joy in alcohol. That's just the truth. That's human nature. That's how it works. Spend some time thinking about the things that make you happy. You have to nourish this piece of yourself, just like you have to nourish your sobriety, just like you have to nourish your brain and your body. You have to nourish fun. You have to have fun. You have to have laughs. You have to be connected to people. So what are those things for you? Again, it doesn't have to be things that are big and extraordinary and expensive or time consuming. Think of things that make you happy. What makes you happy? Maybe it is spending some really good quality time with your kids at the park, right? For me, my niece is a huge one for me. I mean, her little smile just changes my life, in a split second. So what are those things for you? What are things that you enjoy doing? I love reading. I love nourishing that part of myself. I am a science and tech nerd, right? Like I build all my own websites and I do all my own marketing and graphics. I love that stuff. So I can get lost learning more about that stuff. Like what are the things that make you happy? Maybe it's hobbies. I love to go walking. Me and my father go walking sometimes. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love hanging out at my men's sober living houses and really connecting with those guys in their early sobriety and having those great conversations because that nourishes my sobriety, right? And it nourishes my little soul and I'm being of service and that's what makes me happy. So what are the things that make you happy? What are the things that make you smile and make you laugh and make you feel energized? What are those things? Do those things. You have to have fun in your recovery or you will not stay in recovery. Okay? That is the truth. That was a lot of information. I know. Sometimes I feel like I talk really fast and I hope you guys are keeping up. If not, send me a message and let me know. I want to remind you guys too, one of the things that we're doing now is group coaching. You can find group coaching and sign up for it at addictionunlimited.com/coaching. And I will put a link to that in the show notes as well. And what we're going to do, I've set it up right now to be on Monday evenings. And I know I have listeners everywhere, okay? So just bear with me as we figure this out because I am going to offer more times, different times to accommodate different time zones and people in different places because I really want you all to be able to get support and help and guidance when you want it. It's so huge to invest in your sobriety, whether that is time or money or whatever. This was a huge turning point for me personally when I got my own coach, like literally changed everything. And I went through the same thing in my business, right? I work with different business coaches too on different aspects of business, completely changed my business too. But having my own life coach and recovery coach was such a huge piece for me and it literally changed everything. So I want to make sure that you all have access to that you can all get services when you need them. So we're going to be experimenting with some different times. And please message me with suggestions because I am just trying to figure this out and what to offer and how to offer it really to help you guys. So always message me if you have thoughts and suggestions. I'm thrilled to get feedback. So Monday nights at 6 p.m. The next group session is Monday, June 3rd. We're going to talk about breaking down those life domains, have your pen and paper ready, and we're really going to set you up with a little plan of your very own that fits your lifestyle, right? That's everything I do in coaching is about you being happy in your life and you figuring out your life. So everything is very customized to your lifestyle and things, what you like and what you don't like, right? It's all highly customized to you and your life. Monday, June 3rd, we're going to do life domains, and we're going to set just some basic goals, so to speak, and we're going to do it the right way, right? We're going to set ourselves up for success rather than setting ourselves up for failure. And we're just going to make a little goal in each of those life domains so that you guys can start taking those little tiny actions that create your big dream life picture, because that's really what you want. You want sobriety that is strong and comfortable and fun, that you can be proud of, to be a person you're proud of, to have a life that you're proud of, so you can go from feeling sad and depressed and embarrassed and feeling like a complete failure and like you're doing everything wrong, to being confident and happy and energetic and fully participating in your life, right? So that's what we want. So Monday, June 3rd, addictionunlimited.com/coaching. You can sign up right there, click the button. It takes you right to the calendar, put your little name in there. And we're going to do those life domains. So you guys will have a really clear understanding of how important this is. It really is simple. It's not always easy, right? Because we're retraining ourselves. We're creating new habits and we're starting to be disciplined, which is really challenging in early sobriety. It's not necessarily easy, but it's very simple and it just takes practice. And if you can start doing some of these things literally in a couple of minutes a day, you'd be amazed at how much you can change your life. And that's what coaching is all about. It's just creating a picture and taking some action and creating a plan to achieve what you want and have the life that you want. addictionunlimited.com/coaching. All of the links will be in the show notes. I hope this episode was so good and informative for you guys. I'm always striving to provide you information so that you can have a happier life. That's all I care about. I've created my own happy life. I want you to do the same thing. Have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.